Hello, I'm Chanel. Welcome to another reading vlog, and today we are doing the Goodreads Choice Awards. So I'll be going through all of the winners and I'll talk about the categories and maybe like how many books I read out of the ones that were nominated and what I would have voted for. And then the books that I haven't read, that one, I'm going to read. Not all of them though. But not books that I don't want to. If there's one on there that won and I have zero curiosity about it, I ain't gonna read it. But I'll move over to my desk and we can go through it together. Okay, so apologies for the jump scare and the outfit change. Yesterday I started filming the proper start to this vlog, but then I got a phone call and I never went back to redo it. So let me go through the winners, how many I read in each category, who I would have voted for before we get to the ones that I haven't read and will be reading in this vlog. So we've got fiction, and the winner was Yellowface. I read Yellowface and I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't for me. In this category, I have read 4 of the books. Personally, I would have voted for Shark Heart, a love story. It was a bit different. Still not amazing, but I think I gave it 4 stars, if I believe. Or even Big Swiss, I would have voted for one of those 2 out of the ones I read. Do I think Yellowface is the best one there? I don't think so. I have a feeling people really liked Tom Lake or Hello Beautiful, but R.F. Kuang, has the fan base behind her. So I don't really agree with that winner. And then there's historical fiction. I apologize for the sweatiness, guys. My aircon is still broke on. Wayward won. So I read Wayward and I rated it 3.5 stars. It is the only book that I read in historical fiction because it's just not my genre that much. Should it have won? I'm sure there was a better book there. Surely a fantasy historical fiction isn't the winner. I think The Covenant of Water, I remember at the library, had a reserve list hundreds of people long. So I have a feeling The Covenant of Water probably should have won that one. Mystery and thriller. The Housemaid's Secret, which is a second. I read the first one. It was fine. It was okay, but it was nothing amazing. I don't think it should have won at all. I have heard a lot of people talk about a lot of these other books as being amazing, like None of This Is True, The Only One Left, The Last Devil to Die. So the fact that won, really, I haven't read any of the ones that were nominated. I do want to read Bright Young Women, so I've put that on my to-reads list. But yeah, I didn't read any, and I don't think The Housemaid's Secret should have been the winner for that. All right, now we have Best Romance, and Happy Place won. Happy Place is my least favorite Emily Henry book. I gave it 3.5 stars. Don't think it should have been the winner. It's not even a good romance. It's a horrible relationship. Out of this category, I have read 4 of the books, and my favorite, hands down, was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. That was a 5-star book for me. So that's what I think should have won. That's my opinion. People have really been loving The 7 Year Slip. I've heard people love a lot of these other books more than Happy Place. Even the stans of Happy Place didn't like it. So I think it's just, once again, another thing of the author being really famous and people who haven't read the book wanting their author to win. Then we have Best Romantasy, and Fourth Wing won. Of course it fucking did. I'm not surprised. And to be honest, I think it probably should have won. A lot of people really love this. Did I? No, I did not. I DNF'd it. I didn't like it at all. So I thought it was very basic. The writing wasn't great. The world building was non-existent. Didn't care about the romance. The main character was annoying as shit. So I hated it, but I do think that probably should have been the winner. There's just nothing like it this year that has just exploded. In this category, in the romantasy, I have read 11 of the books. The only ones I haven't read were ones that were sequels or the 3rd or the 4th installments. So except for the Hurricane Wars, I think that's a first book, but I haven't read that one. But yes, I read 11 out of this category, and I would have voted for The Hanging City by Charlie N. Holmberg. It's one about trolls. It has a bit more substance. It's not just romantasy, but there's still a good romance in there, and it's something different. If I was voting for smut though, probably Kerry Maniscalco's Throne of the Fallen. That would be my smut choice. And then we've got my favorite category, fantasy, and Hellbent one. So Hellbent's the second in the series. I haven't read the first either. Leigh Bardugo is not a huge author for me that I enjoy, and I just wasn't interested in reading this particular series. Do I think it should have won? I don't know. Compared to the other ones there, I guess it's got the biggest fan base. Out of this category, I have read 15 of the books nominated, so 15 of them. My choice would have been Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. I know it is a younger, like kind of more middle grade YA book. I fucking loved it. It was a good time. It was a wonderful adventure, great world building, interesting magic systems, great characters. That would have been my choice. I know a lot of other people loved The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. A lot of them loved, like they like the whole Bone Shops and Bone Dust, like that whole series. So that could have also been a winner. Hellbent, I think it's, once again, it's just a fan base. It's a fan base voting it. Best science fiction. I'm utterly shocked that I have only read 4 of these. Sci-fi is normally a category I like, but then again, I just haven't been reading a lot of it lately, so I need to change that. I'm going to obviously read In the Lives of Puppets. That's what won. I will definitely read it. Out of the ones I read, I would vote for Starter Villain by John's, I think it's Scalzi, but I can't see because I did vote for that one. It was fine. It was like a decent, fun, rollicking, humorous, not so serious time. It's got a cat in a suit on the cover, so just with that alone, should have In the Lives of Puppets won. I have not really heard any good things about it. People love that author, but they like House of the Cerulean Sea far more than In the Lives of Puppets. So really, out of these ones, is there anything that I heard a lot about? I heard a little bit about Deep Sky, a little bit about Ascension. None of them are really standing out to me, to be honest with you. So I don't know, maybe that is the best choice, but I will read it and I'll let you know. Horror, Stephen King. I've just read this, but I read this after I was supposed to do this. So anyway, I will talk about Holly then, about whether I think it should have won. In this category, I have read 3 in this category. My vote would be for A House with Good Bones by T. King Fisher. I gave that 4 stars. I think the winner probably should be The September House. People have said great things about that and have raved about it. So that's the one that I probably think maybe, or Monstrilio. People have been raving about that. I think there's a lot of other books on here that I've heard other people rave about. No one was saying shit about Holly, so I don't agree with that winner. Then we've got YA Fantasy. Divine Rivals won. So Divine Rivals is super popular. It's another one that just popped off. Rebecca Ross and me don't really see eye to eye. But do I think it's reasonable that it won? Yes, I do. It's another fourth wing situation. I'm not surprised, and it's probably should have won. People did love it. In this category, I have read 7 books. And out of the 7, I personally would have voted for House of Roots and Ruin. I think I gave that 4 stars. I don't quite remember, but it's the second in a series. It's a gothic mystery, thrillery kind of romance, fantasy elements. There's magic involved. So that's what I personally would have voted for, but I do think Divine Rivals most likely is going to be justified, and I will be reading it and checking it out. YA fiction, I had read none of these, except for Forget Me Not, which I DNF, did not like it, too young, yuck. So Check and Mate won. It's by Ellie Hazelwood. I have read it and I will talk to you about it then. Do I think it should have won? No. I'm sure one of these is better. Immortality, I think, is a sequel in the series, but that series sounds really interesting. I might pick it up. I heard people really liking Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. I think there's got to be another book in this that probably deserves it more than Check and Mate. Because once again, like the romance in that wasn't even that great. And then we've got Best Debut and Wayward won again. Okay, so in this category, I read 5 of the books. I would probably vote for either The Bandit Queens, which was a bit different, it was fun, it was campy, it was soap opera, it was interesting, or Shark Heart. Those would have been my choices, probably Bandit Queens over Shark Heart. Do I think Wayward should have won? I don't think so. Some people were loving Pineapple Street. Did you hear about Kitty Car? I heard people talking about those ones. Monstrilio is also in this as well. So I think September House is in this too. I think there would have been better options than Wayward for debut novel. Nonfiction. In nonfiction, I read 3 of the contenders. Poverty by America won. That's just not something I would read. Should it have won? I don't know. I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Once again, no one, but then again, I have a small circle of people that I know who read books, and YouTubers that I watch, but I feel like, okay, the ones that I have heard people talking about was Butsy Backstory, Doppelganger. I personally would have voted for Eve, even though I didn't finish that one because I had to go back to the library. I did like what I had read, and the subject matter was interesting. Yeah, Outlive was very, very, very popular as well. That's a science of art and longevity. So maybe any of those, but I don't know. Probably maybe it's justified. Memoir, an autobiography, of course, it's Britney Spears. And that is the only book that I read in this category. Is the writing good? No. Is the story good? Yeah, I guess. It's frustrating, but it's a very famous person, and there was probably no contest for that. I don't read, like I said, I just really don't read memoirs. Well, maybe Pamela Anderson's, but I saw her documentary, so I just don't feel the need to read her autobiography. And then we've got history and biography. I've read zero in this because, once again, history and biography I'm not interested in. The Wager one, it's a great cover, I'll give it that. Shipwreck, Mutiny and Murder. Out of all the ones on there though, what would I be interested in reading? Probably The Earth Transformed, An Untold Story. That sounds interesting. That's probably the one that I would be most drawn to. So I can't give any comments on this because I don't know. And humor, Being Henry, The Fonz and Beyond. Yeah, I'm obviously, he's got his fan base, and I'm surprised they're all online, to be honest with you, because I zero interest. Like, I'm aware of who he is. I didn't watch his show. It was before my time. I have only read one in this category, and that is Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, and that is what I would vote for. I did like that. I thought it was very well done. The other ones that look interesting, Leslie effing Jones, Sure I'll Join Your Cult, and Tough Titties. I would say if it's not strong female character, any of those ones over the Fonz. Shouldn't that be in biography and memoir? More than humor? Like, the humor and the biography and memoir, they seem to be like kind of overlapping. I guess if it's a memoir about a funny person, they put them in humor. I don't know. Why is humor here? But no children's representation whatsoever. So out of picture books, middle grade, and graphic novels, surely middle grade. Adults read middle grade too. Like, they know that, right? Surely they don't understand that adults also read middle grade. I don't understand why they're accent categories either. Does it cost them more money to have more categories? Otherwise, just leave them in. Put them back in. Put all the kids' ones back in, the graphic novels too, because graphic novels isn't just kids either. That is also adult graphic novels. Put in the, cookbooks, and what else have they axed? Poetry. Bring them all back. I'm glad that they've added romantasy, because that way fantasy can just be fantasy and isn't going to lose to the hardcore romantasy fan bases. But yeah, man, I don't understand why they're axing categories. Like I said, does it cost them more money to do? I don't know. So it's a bit weird. I know people think that a lot of the Goodreads books that are promoted are based on obviously their relationships with publicists or with publishing houses or with like Amazon. So I don't know what the politics are of how they pick what books go into the running. A lot of it is very surprising and confusing, but yeah, I would say most of the winners I'm like side-eyeing. Some I'm like, yeah, I get it. The biggest ones are I'm like 100%. Fourth Wing and Divine Rivals for sure, like they were going to win those categories. But the only two books, so the books that I am reading, I've already read some, are In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune for sci-fi, Stephen King with Holly for horror, Rebecca Ross's Divine Rivals for YA fantasy, and Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood for YA fiction. So those are the four that I'm going to be reading. So I have no interest to read Probably by America, The Wager, Being Henry, Hellbent, because I'd have to read the first, or The Housemaid's Secret, because I didn't really like the first one. So that's what I'm going to do for this vlog, and I'll see you when I've read the other ones. So the book that I read was Check and Mate. So it is YA, and it's YA romance. And I know I shouldn't touch it. I shouldn't touch it because I don't like it. The only YA I tend to like is YA fantasy, and it has to be like a more mature, 18-year-olds and up. In this book, so with this one, the premise is you've got an 18-year-old, she's got 2 sisters, she's got an ill mother, and she's basically become the parent and she's providing financially and emotionally for everybody in the family. And she used to love chess, and her father was a grand chess master, but then she gave chess up when her father passed away. But the opportunity comes up to play chess against someone and get paid a lot of mullah. So she decides, yeah, okay, I'm doing it for the money, like how most of us are with our jobs. And she ends up going against the, current grandmaster or golden boy Nolan, and sparks fly. So this is definitely heavy on the chess. If you don't like chess, probably don't read this book because that can get a bit boring. Nerd alert fact, I was the chess captain in year 6 at my school, competed in all the tournaments, was obsessed with it for 1 year, and then writing Buffy fan fiction came into play and chess went out the window. So that being said, I just have no interest in chess anymore. I think I just killed it to death for that 1 year, and now I'm like, don't ever want to look at it again. So I didn't love the chess parts. With the romance was cute, it was fine, it wasn't amazing. I don't know, it was a bit lukewarm, bit tepid. The biggest issue I had with this was that you've got a 12-year-old, 14 and 18-year-old, so they're Gen Z, and yet all of the author's pop culture references were millennial. And it's like, lady, yeah, no, you can't write a very heavily enthused pop culture book with the terminology, with the interests, and have them be millennial when they're meant to be Gen Z. So, for instance, like my Gen Z daughter would think they were all cringe. If she read them, she'd be like, that's cringe. That's just not even relevant. So it just gave, I'm a cool mum vibes. I just find it's very hard for an adult author of a different generation to write a realistic teen from another generation. It's happened. I have read it where they've gotten it spot on and they've got all the current pop culture references. But this one, I'm like, 12-year-olds are not watching that. 12-year-olds are not crushing over that person. That was millennials. That was a millennial thing. So yeah, I found those really just took me out of the book. And it was just, I don't know, the way it was written, it was just so extra. It was very extra with the dialogue. And like I said, just jam-packed with the pop culture stuff. It's just too much. And I personally didn't love it. I'm giving it 3.5 though, because I can see how easily readable it is. And I think a lot of people that are just Ellie Hazelwood fans are just going to eat it up. But I think that's why she won. I'm sure there is another book in that category that was done better, but because it's Ellie Hazelwood, people are just going to vote for her, her fans. So yeah, I'm not reading any more of the YA entrants. So this one, in terms of spice level, it's got some spice, but then the actual, get down to business scene is closed door. But yeah, the relationship as well, I don't know, it was a bit odd. It didn't really do anything for me, so yeah, 3.5 stars. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. The next book that I'm going to pick up is Holly by Stephen King. I want to change things up a bit and do something very, very different. I don't know how I'm going to go. Horror and I like the tamer horror. Anything with body horror, I really don't stomach well. So we'll see what this one's like. I do like more psychological horror, I guess, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a go, but I may not push myself to fully read this one if we're not getting along. And then after that, obviously we've got In the Lives of Puppets and Divine Rivals as a final 2. So those are on the agenda. Sorry about the view. Blue, can you not clean yourself? So today I'm going out with my cousin. We're going to a cafe called Budapest Cafe, which is designed after the Budapest Hotel in the Wes Anderson film. So it looks very aesthetic online. And then I'm going to hit up, I think it's called Haruya Pantry, which is like an Asian-inspired gelato store. They're famous for wrapping the gelato in mochi. And then I'm just going to head over to Lincoln Park across the road and eat it. It's meant to be a very sunny, hot day. Right now it is cold, it is foggy, it is humid. I should not have straightened my hair today. It's already frizzing out. I probably should have curled it. I might do that. I don't know. And I'm got to go to the library again because I've read all the books I've already borrowed, so I got to pick up some more. But I'll touch base with you guys when I get back. Okay, so I am back from the cafe. Loved the aesthetic of the cafe. The vibe was a bit odd, but aesthetically stunning. I absolutely am a sucker for curvature in architecture. If I got to design my own dream house, curves everywhere, curves in the tables, on the archways, on the furniture. I'm an absolute curve addict. So in terms of the food, it was Asian fusion. I liked the chestnut cream on the top of my latte. The coffee though was very bitter, and with the main, it was okay. It was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. Would I go back to that cafe? No. So lovely, very cool theme, but not for me. The gelato was delicious, so would go back there. And that park is one of my favorite parks. Let me show you now what I've got from the library. So we've got Dot and the New Thing. So I've got this for kiddo. I'm trying to get her to do a little bit more reading. Then I've got March's End. So I don't know what this is about. My glasses are sliding down my nose because my face is that sweaty. So sweaty, I'm going to take them off. But it looks like a fantasy book. Then I've got The Good Part. So this is a romance book, and I think it's just been released. And my library got it in straight away. And I'm the first person to borrow it. So I love that because, oh my God, so good. It's like brand new book smell. That's just the best. The Disorganization of Celia Stone. The cover just got me with this one, all the little pretty flower petals. I don't know what it's about. I think it must be a litfic. I'm guessing it's a litfic. But once again, there were some brand new beauties, and if I see something that's fresh and clean, I'm going to grab it. And last but not least, I got this one. This is called Wall. I'm guessing once again litfic. I'm just a sucker for litfic covers. I like them. I like the graphic design. They tend to use color very well. They're normally very simplistic but odd and very modern, and that really speaks to me. So, okay, this is about a woman returning to Australia to clear out her dad's house and family stuff. So, don't know, with litfic, I think 8 out of 10 of them, not for me whatsoever, but then those 2 out of 10 I normally love. So I keep trying the genre because it's worth it to go through the 8 to find the 2. So that's how I feel about litfic. But those are the books that I grabbed today, but I will not be reading any of them until I finish the Goodreads challenge. Hey guys, this is probably the worst angle, I'm very aware, but my dad's here and he's doing construction work, so I'm just trying to get away from the noise. And once again, I'm sorry for the sweatiness. The aircon obviously still isn't fixed, so trying my best. So I have read Holly, and I was expecting, a horror book, and what I got was a COVID book. The pandemic is forefront in this. The author is just using this book as a vehicle to talk about vaccines, testing, quarantining, Trump, just all of that kind of thing. And I could not be less interested. I'm not here to read about the pandemic and Trump and MAGA and everything else to do with that. So I DNF'd it at 55 pages. It was just, he just kept going on about it. And I'm like, I don't want to hear about masks and which masks are the best. I lived through it. Don't want to go back there. So yeah, I DNF'd that one. Definitely don't think it should have won. I am sure, even out of the horror books that I read, there were much better options. So no, Holly should not have won. The next one I'm going to try is Divine Rivals. So many people loved this, absolutely loved it. The author, like I said previously, isn't my favorite. So I'm going in with zero expectations. I'm going in with low, like below ground, below sea level. I'll let you know about that. I'm trying to hit up the Baldwin Library today. Baldwin is one of the bigger ones for Boorandarra Council Library. So if I have time, I will take you there today. These are all the libraries that I used to work at. So I used to work for Boorandarra Council. And so I worked at all of these branches. When you work for council libraries, you don't get positioned just at one of their branches. They rotate you around through all of them. Tonight is my daughter Valentine's grade 6 graduation and disco. So we've got that on this evening. And once again, I'm just going to hold in the tears, but I'll touch base with you guys later. morning, guys. So I have finished Divine Rivals and I ended up giving it a 4.25. So it's got a historical wartime book kind of feel. Obviously it's not set in our world during the war, but it has a very like World War II vibe to it. Let's talk about what I liked. So I liked the writing style, I liked the characters, and I thought the pacing was pretty good. I definitely felt like there was an emotional depth to it. There was a lot of, I'd say mostly there was a lot of grief, a lot of loneliness and hopelessness, I guess would be the main ones. Now, when it comes to the romance, it's very sweet, it's quite chaste. They kind of skip a few steps and then go back. So I don't know what it was though. I didn't feel a connection to it. So it wasn't hitting me. I wasn't feeling the love and the romance. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why I've given it a lower score. If I'm not connected to the couple as a couple and I'm not really living in the relationship, I don't get as invested. So yeah, they're very sweet. They are 18 and 19, so it's not too YA, but it's also not very spicy. There's like kind of a little bit of steam, but just the way their relationship progressed was a bit odd, was a bit not the norm. In terms of the magic system, it's very confusing. I still don't understand it. So there are gods and the gods were wreaking havoc and humans killed the gods and then put them back into the earth. And because of that, there are bits of magic everywhere. So for instance, there's magical typewriters that communicate to other people. And there's shops like convenience stores where you go in and magic is able to tell how much money you have and will only put food items to the front that you can afford. So there's little bits like that. Obviously the gods, some of the gods have woken up. So Enva and I don't know how to pronounce Dakre. I'm sorry, I should have looked it up before I butchered it. And Enva is like the music goddess and she's supposed to be more of a light, good god, I guess. And then Dakre is like the god of the underworld and perhaps a bit worn. He's the darker god and they're warring against each other and they're calling up humans to fight for their cause. So that's what's going on. And Robin and Iris are war correspondents reporting on what is happening. So yeah, there were just, I don't know if obviously more of the magic system and the world building will be done in the second book because this continues on. I would hope so, because at the moment I'm not quite understanding what is going on. But yeah, I liked it. It was good, but because I wasn't invested in the romance, it's not great. So that sucks. I just felt like they didn't, I don't know. For me, I just felt like there wasn't enough of a build up. There wasn't enough moments of them like flirting and slowly touching. It just, like I said, it jumped a bit all over the place and I just didn't feel it. So I still liked it. 4.25. It's still a good book. I'm going to read the next one because the way that it ends. Okay, so for most of my rating is based on everything that happens in like the last couple of pages. Just everything goes down and I'm like, what is happening? What does this mean? What is going on? So that is why I'm continuing, really. It was like right at the end, really got there. But there was also a bit of a found family vibe too. You know, it had very small town energy. The last village that they're in is very quaint and quiet. And the setting and the place was very strong in this book. Do I think it should have won? Probably. Yeah, I don't see it. It's above a 4 for me, so yeah, I still think it should have won because I know so many people this book really hit for them, so I'm not surprised. Okay, apologies if the washing machine is very loud. So I have started reading, oh my gosh, what's it called? In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. And it's giving very much Pinocchio and Bicentennial Man vibes. So in this world, there are humans, but there are also like androids and robots. And in the beginning, you have an android living in a treehouse in the forest, and these humans come to him and say, you have to keep our baby safe, and it's a human child. We'll come back. That they haven't come back. So it's like 21 years later, and they haven't come back. And Giovanni, the android, is taking care of Victor, the human. They have built some robots, and there's something about Victor's blood that seems to be vital. And what's happened I've read, I think about 50 pages, Victor found another android in a junk heap and has brought him back to the tree house. His name is Cap, something like that. And Giovanni freaked out, like, get him out of here, like, it's not safe. But we don't know what's going on. We don't know. Cap doesn't know who they are. They've lost all their memories with being rebooted by Victor. So there's a mystery of, like, who is Cap, this android that's come into their lives, but also, who is Victor? Why were his parents being hunted down? At the start, it was very slow to get into because I'm just not a big person for, like, tech-based books. They don't do a lot for me, and it was very much just looking at Victor and Giovanni and the two robots. Okay, so the two robots that they have, you've got a really perverted medical robot, like so dirty, and then you've got an anxiety-ridden vacuum cleaner. So they're the two robots. And in the beginning of the book, it's just all of them having their dialogue. So just the perverted robot going off, being nasty, and then the vacuum robot just freaking the F out because also hypersexual medical robot over here is constantly threatening death upon the robot vacuum. So also has sociopathic tendencies. And then you just got Victor just chatting to them. They're like his friends, I guess. And so far Victor has ascertained that he's asexual, but the only contact he's ever had is with robots. So he's never actually been around other human beings. Oh, but this new android, Hap, very attractive man. So designed to be a very attractive man. Like I said, I'm getting bicentennial vibes, to be honest. Is a human being going to fall in love with a robot? I feel like it's going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to continue. So like I said, I like to give at least 100 pages. At the moment, it's just giving me 3.5 star vibes. So we'll see if it picks up and I want to actually read it all or not. So I'll tell you when I get back and I've read another 50 pages. Today, I'm going to catch up with one of my besties for brunch. I'm also taking my daughter to pick a mobile phone number because she's going to high school next year and I'm getting her a mobile phone so that she can call me whenever she needs. And she also might want to get her ears pierced. So we'll see if that goes down, but that's on the agenda today. And I'll see you guys later. So yeah, I've just been crying. I've read 120 pages of In the Lives of Puppets, and something just happened that just got me in the heart. Giovanni is my favorite character at the moment. Wasn't expecting it. Some things have happened. Some stuff is going down. I'm not sure still what this world is, if it's like a Skynet kind of world machine. So I've got Bluebell just going nuts. Don't he, darling? Have taken over and humans are just killed on sight. It seems that way. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, something devastating happened. And I didn't even realize that I was that... She's so cute. Hello, my baby. I didn't even realize I was that invested until it happened. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling things. So how do I feel about it though? Like some of it I'm getting bored because it's just a lot of dialogue back and forth between Hap, who is very much almost like an alien or newborn child, doesn't really understand anything going along in the world, and is needing explanations. And obviously Victor, the robot psychopathic pervert nurse, whose name is Nurse Ratchet, so that medical machine is Nurse Ratchet, and the vacuum cleaner, I keep forgetting the neurotic vacuum cleaner's name. Anyway, so it's mostly dialogue just between the four of them, and Giovanni came in occasionally. But yeah, Giovanni just reminds me of, like I said, Bicentennial Man, Robin Williams, you know? And now Sylvie's here. Hey, Sylvie, where are you? Hey, Sylvie. There you are. Okay. Okay. I just got home, so I've been gone all day, and the cats are clingy. But yeah, I am going to continue reading it. I probably will read it until the end. I'm 120 pages in. I'm going to keep going, so I want to find out what happens. But yeah, so I guess I'm liking it, but I'm also bored. I'm simultaneously invested and bored. It's very weird, but yeah, we'll continue. I think the boredom is just because, like I said, I'm not really a robot girly. I'm not really into stuff that's very tech heavy and dialogue heavy, with just people having conversations. And I feel like it's too heavy-handed with the like attempt at humor. Nurse Ratchet and the vacuum cleaners like back and forth is just so extra and over the top that it feels forced rather than just like naturally funny and engaging. Like it feels very formulaic and thought out and structured. So we'll see how we go. Okay guys, so I finally read the last book for this vlog. It's taken forever. I've just not been reading much, too busy with end of school and Christmas preparations. But I finally finished TJ Klune's In the Lives of Puppets, and I've given it a 4 stars. So this reminds me of Pinocchio, The Matrix, Robots, Bicentennial Man, The Wizard of Oz. It's kind of got all of that energy combined. It did trigger emotions. So there was grief and love and belonging and family and what it means to be a human. And I enjoyed it overall. That's why I've given it 4 stars. But it's not the kind of story that I'm super into. It's, you know, a lot of robots and tech, and that's just not my jam personally. I also found the banter or the dialogue between Nurse Ratchet and Rambo was kind of grating at the end. It was very over the top. The humor felt really forced. Nurse Ratchet, I appreciate a dirty mind. I have one myself, but she was just a creepy perv. And if I had to read any more about penetration, lubrication, or arousal, I was going to puke. So I felt like they detracted from it. They were just too much, and it got annoying. Whereas Gio was my favorite. Giovanni, I loved his character. And obviously the romance and partnership developing between Hap and Victor was very sweet. Coachman was also a very interesting character. So yeah, I did enjoy it overall. Should it have won? Possibly. I rated it 4 stars. So I think it's a contender. Just depends on the other books that were nominated, I guess. The ones that I had read in the sci-fi category, no, it definitely beat those out. So yeah, this was my Goodreads reading challenge week. So pretty good. Overall, enjoyed the books except for Holly. Could not stand that one. Not for me. But I'll see you next week. Until next time, stay well, Star Child.